Hello, this is the Watchdog. Welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Boderry A12 Admiral GMT. Let's start with wrist check. I'm wearing the Citizen Eco Drive, and Greg was wearing my Ballast GMT, the big, huge Ballast GMT. I told Grogu to pick out one of my watches to wear to summer camp. I asked him if he wanted to wear my Seiko SNJ031 Safari, which is the ultimate field watch. He looked at my Aqua Racer and said, "Tag, you're it." All right, let's take a look at the watch. Comes in this fairly nice box. And here it is. This is a titanium GMT watch. And it looks really nice. I like it. I've been very happy with this watch. This is the first Boderry on my channel. I've seen them for some time on AliExpress, but this one I got directly from Boderry. I saw one of their ads on Facebook advertising a pre-order for this Admiral GMT for the introductory price of $139, which I thought was fairly reasonable for a titanium NH34 powered GMT watch. Now that the pre-order is over, the price has jumped to $169, which is still a pretty good price for what you get. It's tempting to call this an homage to the Tudor Black Bay GMT with the opaline dial, but that really isn't justified. The only similarity is the white dial and the snowflake second hand. Everything else is different, including the shades of blue and red of the Pepsi bezel, the shapes of the other hands, the 4 o'clock crown and date, and not a faux rivet in sight. At least no one is accusing Boderry of knocking off a main. This watch comes in two different colorways. If you don't like the Pepsi bezel with the white dial, then there is also a Coke bezel with a black dial. I really like the white dial and have no regrets getting it. The watch is 40.7 millimeters at the bezel, 49 millimeters lug to lug, but it has protruding end links, but they don't protrude that much. It's 12.8 millimeters thick and no cyclops. Has a 20 millimeter lug width, and it does not taper. It's 20 millimeters at the clasp. And it weighs 111 grams on the display bracelet with 3 links removed. It's that light because it's made of titanium. Then we have the Pepsi bezel, and it's aluminum because, of course, it's really hard to make a ceramic Pepsi bezel. Rolex throws away 80% of the ones they make. So you can't expect a watch in this price range to be throwing away bezels just to get ceramic. And look at this though. It's a click bidirectional bezel, which is rare. This is what a GMT should have, bidirectional, but most of them don't, because most of them, the companies that make these things also make dive watches. So they just borrow the design from their dive watch and put a GMT in it, call it good. But no, Boderry made a bidirectional bezel, 24 click, sorry. So that's great. Most of them don't do that. Then we have the dial. The dial is white, no sunburst effect. We have the Boderry name up top. I don't know if Boderry even has a logo. Yeah, I guess they do have a logo because there's one on the crown. And let me get this out of the way so you can see the writing on the bottom. Then we have GMT in red. Then it says automatic. Then 200 meters, 660 feet. Then we have the indices. We have an upside down triangle at the 12. Then we have batons at the 3, 6, and 9. And then we have squares everywhere else. And then we have the hands. We have a fence post minute hand. Then we have a big arrow hour hand. And then we have a snowflake second hand. So it's kind of weird that they put a snowflake second hand and not a snowflake hour hand. But if they're going for the Tudor look, I don't think it is a Tudor homage. And then we have the GMT hand, which is red, and it has a loom tip. Then we have the crown. The crown is a signed screw down. And that must be the Boderry logo. I don't know. But thread action's fine, pops nicely. And when you go to screw it down, it's a little difficult just because of the crown guards, but not too difficult. It catches right away and there's not a lot of thread resistance. So that's fine. Then we have the crystal. The crystal is wonderful. It's sapphire, and look at that. There's hardly any reflection. Even when I point it directly at my light, that's about all you see. So really good AR coating on this crystal. Really, very happy with the crystal. This crystal is a highlight. Then we have the case. The case is fully brushed, and it looks really nice. It's made of titanium. And of course, it has the 4 o'clock crown, not the 3 o'clock crown. And I forgot to mention the 4 o'clock date. I kind of like the 4 o'clock date because it lets you have the big baton at the 3, and it just takes the place of a little square here instead of a whole baton. But really happy with the case. Think they did a good job. And then we have the case back, and it's got this annoying Omega style scallop there, so you can't just open it with your basic wrench. You're going to need a special tool, and I don't know if a coin edge opener works with this type or not. If it does, I don't have one big enough to try it, so I don't know why they did that. That's just annoying. I know why Omega does it, because they want you to go to the authorized dealer. They don't want you to open up your own watches, but this is not an Omega. This is a Boderry. Then it says titanium, 200 meters. And then it says Boderry A12 GMT. Then we have a big star in the middle. Underneath the case back is the NH34 movement. This is the GMT movement that has taken the AliExpress world and other micro brand world by storm, because it's given a very reliable NH35 base movement with the GMT complication. And the nice thing too, it's a GMT jumping hand, so it's really easy to set. By that, let me go ahead and show you. We'll put it in the set position, and when you move the hand, it moves in hour increments. If you have a Ronda 515, the GMT hand doesn't move in hour increments. It moves smoothly. So it takes longer to set because, of course, if you go too far with it, you have to go all the way around. And of course, you have a quick set date in the other direction. This is a 24 joule, 3 hertz movement that hand winds hacks and has a bidirectional rotor and about a 40-hour power reserve. And they're fairly accurate right off the shelf, but we'll go ahead and put this one on the time grapher and see how it's doing. Here it is on the time grapher, and look at that. It's running perfect. So I'm assuming that Boderry must regulated this at their factory, because I'm sure it didn't come off the shelf running that good. It's running 0. It's running spot on, healthy amplitude, no beat error. So really happy with this. That's just amazing. This is probably the best looking time graph I've ever done. I can't believe how good that's going. The bracelet is a 5-link J style, and we have solid end links, but they are protruding. And then we have push pin adjusters, not screw pins. I'm perfectly happy with push pins. They're just easier. And then we have the clasp. The clasp is not titanium, it's stainless steel. It's a scissor clasp, but look at this though. No micro adjust. I don't know why they went in that direction, no micro adjust. Yes, it's a J-style bracelet, so the links are nice and small, so you can still get a good fit. The trouble is if your wrist swells or shrinks or whatever and you need to adjust it, then you're going to have to put a link in or take a link out. You can't just move it with a little tool. You're going to have to actually get out your hammer and pound out a pin, and it's just more of a pain. It's just, I don't understand this reasoning. Every watch like this has micro adjust, so why did they not? I mean, this is not a Grand Seiko. But then again, It's a steel brace. It's a steel clasp, so change it if you don't like it. But I mean, it's nice clasps. It just really wish it had micro adjust. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. That looks really nice. I really like this watch. I removed 3 links to fit. So 8.25 is probably the best you're going to do without more links. And Boderry is more of a premium brand on AliExpress land and their own website. So you probably could ask for more links. I don't see why not. And of course, if you change this clasp, it's so short, that would give you some expansion too. But I just love this crystal. Look at how there's hardly any reflection. So very happy with this watch. Here we are in the lume room. Just wearing the watch for review purposes, I could tell that it had decent lume, but not exactly great when compared to something like my Seiko Safirni. As we speed up the time, we see the green glow C3 and we see a fully lumed bezel, which is a one-up from Rolex or Tudor, who don't even bother luming the home position of their bezels. However, the bezel seems slightly stronger than the dial and hands when it should be the other way around. The bezel home triangle is the strongest thing by far. My original assessment is correct. It is decent, usable lume, but nothing great. What do I like about this watch? Well, it looks and wears nice. It has a bi-directional bezel, a proper GMT bezel. And this excellent AR coating on the sapphire crystal. You hardly see any reflection. Plus, the NH34 movement was regulated at the factory and it's running spot on. What are my gripes and groans? No micro adjust at the clasp. The case back is Omega style, so it's going to be hard to open. And did I mention that there's no micro adjust on the clasp? Do I recommend this watch? Yes, everything else more than makes up for the lack of micro adjust, especially considering the small links of the J-style bracelet. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Boderry Admiral GMT, and I will be back with another review. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel, and if you like this watch, you can either get it from Boderry, which is what I did, or you can get it from AliExpress. I will leave a link to both. If you use the AliExpress one, I do get a small commission, but feel free to get it from wherever you want. But if you like this watch, I definitely recommend it. Bye.